The traditional image of a homeless person in this country is probably that of some poor tramp sleeping rough in the streets with nothing more than a cardboard box for a shelter. While this image is true for some people, there is another, large group of people who are homeless in Great Britain today. These are the homeless that you don't see. Even in a modern town such as Cumbernauld, homelessness exists. In the optimistic days after World War II, plans were put in place for new towns to be built. Cumbernauld New Town began construction in 1956 as an overspill settlement for Glasgow, which did not have the houses for its escalating population. This should have seen everyone with their own home. 50 years later, and despite all the time, money and effort that has gone into new towns, homelessness still remains in them. The YMCA is a charity organisation that offers long and short-term temporary accommodation for young homeless people, making efforts to get them permanent housing, employment, as well as many other types of aid. We went to ask them a few questions. Here we are down at the YMCA premises in Cumbernauld, and I'm talking to Ian, one of the housing support workers down here. Thanks for joining us. How long have you worked at the YMCA?
Just over 11 years.
What made you want to work with the homeless?
Previously I worked in youth work, and there was issues cropping up with some of the young ones there, and when the job came up to work with the homeless, I applied to get more insight into it.
Do you still feel the work you're doing is important?
I think the work we do is very important for the community and the young ones in Cumbernauld and wider areas.
Are there ever times when you regret getting into this line of work?
No, I've never regretted getting into this line of work. I find the work quite challenging, and I get a lot of enjoyment out coming into my work and helping young people move on with their lives. I think it's a really good job.
Does your work ever affect your home life?
It has affected my home life on one or two occasions. It was what happened to a couple of the young people after them moved on. You build up a relationship with them, and then it was just sad news at the end of it. It was committed suicide, one or two. And that affected home life.
In your professional opinion, what would you consider contributes most to the causes of homelessness?
Benefits, where 16, 17-year-olds in the family home don't get any, if they're not working, they don't get any benefits. Where it's hard enough for the parents and going to find your own place. Some of the other factors is people coming through care, leaving care at 16, take a house, and the shortage of people moving into their own tenancies. They're all factors for people being homeless.
What do you think the authorities could be doing to improve the situation for the homeless?
The authorities would have to go to central government to get funding from the government and get the land to build up some housing stock. That's the only solution to eradicating homelessness.
Well, Ian, thanks very much for taking the time to talk to us today. It's been most informative. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And now we're joined by Jim, the accommodation manager here at the YMCA. Thanks for joining us. Can you tell me, Jim, the number of people that have actually come through the doors in the time that you've worked here?
Well, we started actually recording a database around about 1999, and currently on the database we have 1,972 referrals. We took over in 1987, and on average we've had about 164 referrals a year. So in total it probably comes to around about 3,500, 4,000 referrals.
Besides giving them somewhere to stay, do you feel that you've helped your residents in some way, even if it's not been directly?
Well, as you say, giving them somewhere to stay is one part of the work we do. We also in the foyer do things to help them towards independent living when they're staying with us. Even if they're not staying with us, they can use the service. For example, making up CVs, helping them to find employment, that type of thing.
Jim, what are the biggest problems you face when working at the YMCA?
Looking at the YMCA in general, I mean, we are a charity, so I'd say finance is the biggest problem. There's lots of work that we'd like to do, but we just don't have the finance to carry it through. So charity fundraising is a big problem, and having the finance to actually do the work to the quality that we'd like to.
Well, Jim, thanks very much for joining us. Again, you've been most informative, and thanks very much.
Thanks very much, sir.
You might wonder, why bother about this unseen group of homeless people? Homelessness is a social disease. Living in substandard or insecure temporary accommodation usually means that you cannot get a job. Not having a job means you have little or no money. And in these desperate situations, people can turn to alcohol or drugs, and in some cases crime or prostitution. But there is a vast percentage of these hidden homeless who just want a place to call their own and to be normal members of society.